All right, so who's here because they're ready to defend Providence? Who's here to defend Providence from a corporate takeover? So we appreciate each one of our neighbors that has taken the time to be here. Whether you are a supportive neighbor, a tenant at Atlantic Mills, what we are seeing before us is a direct attack on the working people here in our city. And none of this is a coincidence. What we are seeing before us is happening by design because we have city leadership and an administration from the mayor's office that prioritizes the interests of the wealthy over the people that live here. And we're here to say that Providence is not for sale. So to kick things off, we have a tenant organizer from the Atlantic Mills Tenants Union. Let's make some noise for Emily.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out. I can't tell. There we go. Happy to have you out here on a much warmer day than last time. Just to get things started, we have a few speakers from the mills, from our city and state government who are in support of the mills and of us all being able to live in this city. But I just wanted to give you a little background on what exactly the 8 Law is. Basically, it was started to give developers an incentive to build affordable housing, but of course, being developers and not housing providers, as they often like to say, they found sneaky ways to take advantage of that and get that 8% sneaky deal on their whole buildings. The city has been working to fix that, and that is sort of what Section A of the bill would accomplish, to close that loophole. But in closing that loophole, they pissed off the developers, who then were able to, or trying to secure a Section B, which would mean that if you are a developer like Eric Edelman, perhaps, turning a commercial building like the Atlantic Mills into residential space, you would pay 8% tax on that for the course of 30 years, regardless of how affordable those spaces are. That doesn't make any sense. It just does. It's unbelievable. And then, as a kicker, they also added Section D, so that if you are someone who is taking advantage of the old 8 Law, maybe you bought a case, for instance, you can just grandfather that in. No worries. Don't worry about it. The Section A only applies to new development. So they're closing one loophole. They're opening a million others. It's business as usual, per usual, and we are here to say absolutely not. Again, we'll be hearing from some union organizers, from tenants, from folks in Providence, but to kick it off one of our guest speakers, I want to hand the mic over to Vivian. She, unlike our landlord friends, has a job to get to, so she needs to speak sort of at the head of things. So Vivian, if you want to come up here.
Hey y'all, it's lovely to see all these people from our neighborhood, from our community out here today. I live in Federal Hill, right on the border of Olneyville, and have done so many great things at the mills. We here, and I'm from Power, the Providence Organization of Workers and Renters, and we are in full solidarity with the Atlantic Mills Tenants Union and our neighbors in Olneyville. These attacks are on our cost of living by Mayor Smiley and these luxury developers will further gentrify our neighborhoods, raise property values, jack up taxes, and hike rents, pushing out ever more working class residents and tenants over the coming decade. What we really need is security of residence, development that is permanently affordable and accountable to the public, and an immediate freeze on rent hikes and evictions of any kind. This is why we build tenant unions. Our struggle with our landlords, the rising cost of living, is not an individual one. We're all facing it, so we need to face it together as a united front. We can only rely on ourselves. Just look at the Democrats in our city council. They have been promising us rent stabilization for years, but have been unable to stand up alone to Smiley and his sycophants on the council. They have failed to pass any meaningful legislation to control rising rents, landlord abuse, or tax the rich. That is why we need to come together and take action. That is why we need tenant unions. That is why Power is here today, standing with the brave tenants of AMTU. Because when we unite in this fight, no struggle will be too big or too small. We will persevere and we will win. Who's got the power?
We got the power!
What kind of power? Tenant power! Who's got the power?
We got the power!
What kind of power? Tenant power! Thanks, y'all. It's lovely to be here in solidarity with you, and we will be here throughout your fight, from the beginning to the end.
Thank you so much, Vivian. And again, so glad to have everyone. How do you? Hi. Janine, can I trade places with you so you can share?
Thank you for being here with us today. We are all aware that living in Rhode Island is increasingly unaffordable. It comes as no surprise to renters that a recent Redfin Realty report identified Providence as the least affordable city for renters in the United States. Because of rent prices significantly outpacing wages earned by renters. The discrepancy between the median rent cost and the median renter's income is a contributing factor to Rhode Island having the second highest percent of chronic homelessness in the United States. According to that same Realty report, Austin, Houston, and Dallas are the most affordable cities in the country now because they were able to build more affordable housing to suit the needs of the people, and rent prices became less competitive. We are not against developing more affordable housing. The housing situation has been an emergency for several years now. That's why the Commission on Housing Affordability was formed. I understand that 8 Law is trying to incentivize development, but it needs to be done in a careful way that protects Rhode Island's residents, not threatens us. I know there's a lot to feel threatened by right now in our communities and in the larger world, but it is in this community that I am able to hold on to hope. In this life-sized place where our regular voices may be heard or even amplified, we should not feel hopeless or completely desensitized, but feel and act upon the necessity of contributing our voices to the struggles of our immediate context. When developers come here from New York, they don't come here to make homes, they come here to make money. That's why we are in this situation. We cannot afford more luxury condos that were never intended to cater to the majority of our existing communities. Let us plan and work together to take care of the people who are already here, each other.
Thank you, Janine. I also do have a megaphone here, Grief, right next to you. If anyone wants to be leading chants between our speakers, that's not really my forte, but if anyone feels compelled to be the megaphone MC, it is right there. For our next speaker, we have quite a few people, so honestly, if folks want to just come on up, I think, David, if you just want to give your 2 cents, sort of ground this again in what we're fighting against in the legislature, and then we'll just keep rolling on with our tenants and friends.
Thank you so much, Emily. Hello, everyone. My name is David Morales, and I serve as a state representative right here in the city of Providence. And it's an absolute honor to stand in solidarity with each and every single one of you, because if you are here today, it is because you care about Providence. You care about the future of our city. Now, unfortunately, we have a mayor that would rather cater to the needs of corporate interests and developers focused on maximizing profit than taking care of the working people, the families, and the artists that reside here in our city. We've seen record levels of displacement happening in our communities as a result of rising rents. And to make matters worse, right now at the State House, Mayor Brett Smiley is pushing for legislation. He is pushing for a new state law that says, hey, if you're a developer and you want to build and convert a commercial building, regardless of whether or not it's vacant, into luxury housing, where rent's over $3,000 a month, guess what? You can get a 30-year tax break. And all this is happening during a time that working people in our city are being threatened with higher property taxes. So how is it that we want to raise property taxes on working people while at the same time granting multi-million-dollar corporations that can afford to pay their fair share with direct tax breaks regardless of whether or not they build any affordable units? Subsection B and D of this bill smell and look just like the needs of corporate interests. And I'll tell you, right there at the State House, they count on us in the community to not pay attention as to what's happening.
Right.
If it was up to the mayor's office, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be aware that they're trying to ram this law through the State House. They would try to pass it silently.
Right.
And then when the Superman building becomes predominantly luxury development and the developer gets tens of millions of dollars worth of tax cuts and Atlantic Mills becomes luxury housing, they'll just throw their hands up and say, well, it's the state law. And that's why we're standing up, because we're not going to let them get away with that. Business as usual to appease millionaires and luxury development is over. As a community, we're saying no tax cuts for luxury housing. No tax cuts for luxury housing. No tax cuts for luxury housing. And we're going to make sure that this law is written to benefit affordable housing. Because right now, there's another sneaky part they snuck into this bill, Section D. Section D says that if you, as a developer, have already been gaming the system and abused a loophole that gives you a tax cut, even if you don't have any affordable units, you can keep that tax cut and you'll be protected from the law forever. This is a bill that directly benefits Joe Paulino, Buff Chase, multi-million-dollar investors who don't care about taking care of the needs of the people that live here, but care more about lining up their pockets. But that's why we're here, because we are not going to stand and watch as our neighborhoods get gentrified. We're not going to sit back and watch Atlantic Mills become a luxury rental unit where you got to pay $3,000 a month plus just to live there.
It's commercial.
But they want to make it into luxury development.
Yeah, fuck that.
They want to transform Providence and take away its creativity. They want Providence to become a bedroom community to Boston. But we know that's the creative artists that make Providence special. I'm proud to say that Providence is weird. Providence is fun. Providence is city. We are Providence. So together, let's continue to fight. And let's make sure that we stop the harmful provisions of this bill, but most importantly, that we prioritize the needs of the working people, of the families in the city, by making sure that everyone has access to affordable housing, because we are saying no to tax breaks for luxury housing. So best believe that this energy today, we will continue to have at the State House, because we need to make sure at the moment they try to put this bill forward to pass in its current form, that we show up and stop that from happening. Because the days of special interests running laws, drafting laws, and passing laws that benefit them are over. We're going to make sure we only have people-centered laws moving forward at that State House, and that starts with defeating the provisions of this bill. Thank you.
Hey, hey! Our city! Whose city? Our city! Whose city? Our city! Our city! Tenant rights are human rights! Tenant rights are human rights! Tenant rights are human rights!
Okay, thank you all. Next up we have Lindsay, do you want to come up and speak to our friends?
Hi everybody, thank you for being here. I guess my words really have to do with that, us as a group. I remember when this weird speed bump got installed. It got installed and people were saying that it was designed so politicians didn't have to step foot in the street. When I was a kid, Buddy Cianci used to ride a horse down my street, maybe once a year. Like the true prince he presented himself to be. Providence has notoriously been problematic. But today, we are here to celebrate a paradigm shift. People all over the city are talking about the 8 bill. Our community is actively rejecting systems of corruption and collusion with private equity. We have policymakers who are truly advocating for constituent rights. David Morales caught the 8 bill and exposed it. From David's call, the community picked up the torch. That bill isn't going anywhere because of us. We did this together. Thank you.
Union strong! Union strong! When I say union, you say strong! Union strong! Union strong! When I say union, you say strong! Union strong! Union strong!
Sorry, thank you for your patience. I'm new to MC. But it really is so fab to all be here together on this beautiful Saturday. We'll just keep the speakers rolling. Kelly, you have some experience with one of our lovely developers living in one of their buildings. Would you like to tell us about that?
Hey everyone, I'm Kelly from Reclaim RI. I was actually asked to speak today to talk about one of the developers, the Armory Revival Company, that has had a seat on the table of the Housing Affordability Commission. Not only did I live in their neighborhood for 20 years, but I had the very unfortunate experience of being a tenant of theirs. I was actually displaced twice from neglect and dangerous conditions in their buildings. If you're aware, Armory Revival has been a driving force for gentrification. Their legacy is of tenant abuse. It's been spanning decades. They've driven people out of their homes and businesses through a combination of high rents, tenant abuse, and building neglect. Their success isn't possible without handouts, tax loopholes, and tenant exploitation. Our reward as a neighborhood for their success has been met with maximum rents, minimal maintenance, and buildings that don't even meet code. The laws mean nothing to them unless they're written for them to get richer on the broken backs of a working class neighborhood. Seth Zarin of Armory, who sits on that Housing Affordability Committee, how dare you leave me without heat during Christmas for 30 days? Did you need a tax break to fix that? Seth, how dare you go to a Housing Affordability Committee and use a building that charges close to $4,000 a month in rent as an example of why you need Subsection B and D to turn a profit? How dare you claim to be an advocate that's providing housing when you had illegal Airbnbs in our neighborhood? Does BJ Dupre from Armory really need his third mansion while every other taxpayer faces an increase? The people of Rhode Island, we don't exist to subsidize the lifestyles of the wealthy developers. We're done waiting for these scraps to trickle down. It just, as we get forward in like the legislative session, it's really important for people to get out to these committees and sit on there and really see what's going on behind the scenes and learn who the players are in Providence. It's really unfortunate that they are in there and they're pleading poverty and trying to get these sections passed, but thank you guys so much.
Stop the greed, meet our need, affordable housing guaranteed. Stop the greed, meet our needs, affordable housing guaranteed. Stop the greed, meet our needs, affordable housing guaranteed. Stop the greed, meet our needs, affordable housing guaranteed.
Alright, next up I have Reese, another leader from the Atlantic Mills Tenants Union, to speak.
I'm gonna try to keep moving this. Thank you so much to Janine, Sylvia, Cindy for rapidly responding to what happened this week and showing up to that committee hearing. I reviewed it, and going off of what you just said, the fact that someone from the Armory was saying that they have a $3,000 plus apartment and they want that tax at 8%. If someone's standing in front of a council telling politicians that they're going to charge $3,000 a month and want a tax break, let's believe them. Let's not do that. But more so, Steve wrote an amazing article last week based on David's testimony. Looking at the comments, it was really shocking to see Xander Morrow from the Dirt Palace commenting, the Dirt Palace, a feminist arts collective that charges the lowest possible rents to make sure that their people can have the money to live, rates 14.5%. Why is an organization like that going to pay close to double the rent of someone charging $3,000 a month for an apartment? It's absurd. The kind of inequality and the distrust in society that we'd be creating by doing these things is just terrible. I live in a co-op and we do the same thing. My rent's $550 and I can have that rent for the rest of my life. We should be supporting opportunities like this for people to share ownership in a house and reward that. If we're going to give tax breaks to someone, let's make sure that we're starting co-ops so people have equity and low-price homes for the rest of their lives. That's a real, and I bring that up not just because I was offended at that, but because at the council, Rep. Speakman asked them, she was confused why nothing seems to ever have an effect on the price of apartments. She said, is there any point at which, the prices are going to go down and you're going to stop asking us for stuff? And they were like, no, or just were silent. And it's like, well, here's an opportunity. Again, I pay $550 for rent and I can have that for the rest of my life. That is a real solution to poverty and rent inequality in the city. Let's find ways to support that.
Tax the rich, house the poor. We won't take it anymore. Tax the rich, house the poor. We can't take this anymore. Tax the rich, house the poor. We won't take this anymore. Tax the rich, house the poor. We won't take this anymore. We won't take this
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, it's really hard to be a developer. It just feels so bad for them. Next up, we have some more Atlantic Mills Tenants Unions. We have a representative member from Warp Collective.
My name is Eliza Squibb, and I'm a member of Warp Artist Collective at Atlantic Mills.
Mic is not working.
You just have to tap it.
That's really close.
You can use this. I think My name is Eliza, and I'm a member of Warp Artist Collective at Atlantic Mills. The so-called developers of Atlantic Mills want to rebrand this historic building as an innovation and technology hub. Atlantic Mills does not require rebranding. This mill was built with the highest level of technology of its time. Textile innovations that made our state the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Atlantic Mills remains today the birthplace of revolution. Artists, artesanos, makers, musicians, flea market vendors, small business owners, we are all innovators. We are the technicians of creativity that the tourism office loves to brag about. They call our city the creative capital, but look what the city does to those same creatives. No, just like our home at the mill, we do not require rebranding either. It is not by accident that we are here. It is by intention that we work in and care for this historic site of innovation. If you enjoy your city, what our city has to offer, amazing food, music, art, culture, diversity, this is also your fight. Today, right now, the luxury developers Robert Burrell and Eric Edelman are evicting our neighbors. See, they have a different vision for this building, and it's the opposite of the vibrant community that we have now. When they see this building, they don't see people, they see dollar signs. We have a simple ask for you. Call your representatives and senators and tell them that this bill cannot pass. Tell them that Robert Burrell and Eric Edelman must work with the union. Tell them that we won't be quiet and we won't be pushed around. We have what they don't. Not just a union, but union itself. Solidarity. Community. We are Atlantic Mills.
Next up, I have Addie, another Atlantic Mills Tenants Union leader.
Hi, I'm a member of the Atlantic Mills Tenants Union. And I'll keep it quick, but I just wanted to say that everyone that is left in the mill buildings in Providence, everyone at the flea market, everyone in Olneyville, everyone here makes Providence what it is. I think we can all agree on that. And I think we can also all agree that Providence is and has been a dying city, and the reason for that is these developers keep coming and getting deals like this bill with the government, with the city government, with the state, with the mayor, to destroy any semblance of community and build luxury housing. For who? Not us. I don't even know who fucking lives there. And there will only be a ghost of Providence left if this bill passes. So we got to do everything we can to fight against it. And we protect us, not politicians, not Brett Smiley, not the developers. We protect us. So.
When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Wait, is there anyone else who would like to speak before we sort of wrap things up? I also do just have a quick little note. Anyone? Wait, if you decide in the next couple of minutes. I also just have an update, I think, just from the union perspective. As I'm sure some of you have read, we have been able to meet with Edelman and Burl a couple of times. The first time in person, nice little meet and greet. They said, well, you guys seem like real human beings. Look, we are too. And we said, great, let's chat. This can be, they said, we just want to work with you. We don't want to change anything. And our message has always been, that's great, put it in writing. Negotiate with the union. We want the same things if you put them in writing, which they have refused to do. The second time we met with them on Zoom, they said, oh my God, your faces look a lot sadder than they did last time. This was after our friends have gotten eviction notices and notices to vacate because somehow the records that they have at Acropolis Management, which can't manage to fix a door on time or fix a leak or have any plan for how our garbage is supposed to be taken care of, said, wow, that's crazy that you're so sad that we kicked all your friends out of this building. And so those of us who are still left, Riot RI had to leave their space this morning. I'm sure a lot of you were there helping with that. These people don't care about Providence. We care about Providence. The fact that they can't see that, and the fact that they can't see our people power that this union has put together. Bob Burl and Eric Edelman keep saying, well, there's no laws about tenants unions. We don't really know what a commercial tenants union is. Eric Edelman literally Googled commercial tenant collective bargaining on our last Zoom call, as if he hadn't had months to think about what that would look like or look up any examples. And then he got upset when we said, yeah, it's just what it is. Please come to the table and negotiate. He got upset and left the Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Which is all to say, we have the power. We've held them off. We are going to keep fighting. They cannot get rid of us. We are making what a commercial tenants union looks like. We are making what tenants unions look like. We are keeping people power going in this city. And thank you all for being here. For our last speaker today, I have our union vice president, Cindy Miranda.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Everyone here. Enough is enough. We are here today because working people, families, organizations, artists, and small businesses are being pushed out while developers get sweetheart tax deals and still tell us to just wait for trickle-down affordability. Let's be clear. We are not against housing. We are against giving away our neighborhoods, our city, and state to developers who think $2,000 to $3,000 rent is normal. A VP from one of the top development companies, the Armory Revival Company, even admitted his tenants make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they have their pick of where to live. And yet he claims the solution is to build more luxury housing so these high earners aren't competing with the rest of us. Really? That's the best they've got? The same developer compared this crisis to the game of musical chairs. He said, if we have more chairs, everyone gets a seat. But what happens when you're playing a game of musical chairs? People are standing. And in this city, it's the working class, it's renters, it's small businesses, owners, the artists, the unhoused, it's the flea market vendors, it's all of us. Meanwhile, Section D of this bill lets developers keep wrongful tax breaks they should have never had in the first place. Instead of taxing the 1%, they want to squeeze more out of us, saying it's for affordable housing, when it's anything but. Affordable for who? We are here to say we are done being sold out. To our elected officials, vote no on Section B and D of House Bill 5688. Remove it, stop the giveaways to developers, and put residents first. And to everyone here, make noise, flood their emails, flood their phones, and show up. The fight isn't over after today. We keep pushing, we keep showing up because we refuse to be pushed out. El pueblo grita, el pueblo manda. No más rentas que nos matan. Thank you.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! B and D have got to go! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our city is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! Legislators, do what's right. Reject this bill, stand and fight. Legislators, do what's right. Reject this bill, stand and fight. Legislators, do what's right. Reject this bill, stand up and fight. Legislators, do what's right. Reject this bill, stand up and fight. That's all we have programmed for you this afternoon. It's sort of breezy. We're still in the sun, so I want to be respectful of your toesies that might still be recovering from last time. But this is huge. I also am just so happy to see everyone here to support that we have, not only within the building, but with the community, and then the neighborhood, and then the city, and the state. And this really is a national movement. The tenants' rights movement, we've reached a tipping point. Business as usual is not working anymore. We can all recognize that. For some reason, the developers don't understand. We will make them understand. And this is how we do it. So thank you all so much for coming out.
Does this work? I just wanted to say one more thing. Thank you to everybody for coming here. Thank you for being together. Again, we have nothing more important than each other. Thank you.